Well, hey guys, it's a nice, cool winter evening here in the high country, and I'm really looking forward to today's video because not only has it been almost a year in the making, but we're going to be looking at a manufacturer that I've never tested out here on the channel, but that many of you in Europe may be pretty familiar with. The Casström number 10 forest knife. This version is a Scandi grind with a Sleipner steel curly birch handle and a leather sheath, and I also have a number 10 Swedish forest knife in a full flat grind with Sandvik steel and a Bladehq sheath and micarta handles. Just tons of fun today as I put these two blades head to head to really see what they can do. I'm Aaron, this is Gideonstactical. Let's go ahead and head on back to the blade boot camp and dive on in. Sheaths on fixed blades are like tires on your vehicle. You can have an amazing V8 with the right RPMs and torque and a supercharger or turbo, but if you have improper tires, you're going to go sliding off and careening into the ditch. And in the same way, you can have the right ergonomics and amazing steel and perfect grind, but if the sheath is not well executed, you're going to want to hurl it into the ditch across the campsite. And that is exactly what I wanted to do with one of these two sheaths, because they are catastrophically different, and I am purposely using that word. Now, on my full flat grind version, I purposely got the Bladehq, and then we purposely got the Scandi in leather. You can reverse that. If you like the full flat, you can get leather. If you like the Scandi, you can get Bladehq. Well, this is probably one of the worst Bladehq sheaths from a production blade I have seen in quite some time for many different reasons. Not only is the thumb ramp right here off center, it's not properly lined up, so it feels cheap and feels wonky when you put your thumb on there. Secondly, when you put it in, it's very tight. You end up rubbing on the Bladehq quite a bit, and you usually pull out Bladehq on your blade. You're gonna see it there every time I pull it out. This comes with no mounting options, doesn't come with a clip, nothing. So you're just, here's your Bladehq sheath. Then the fit and finish was crap. I'll just use that word, I guess. Crap as well. We can see lips here. I had to put this to my belt sharpener, actually. I just put one of my super coarse grinds on there to reshape the whole front end. It was all wonky. Look at it, looked like it had been poured out of a bad mold. I mean, it was just atrocious on every level. There is not a thing about the Bladehq that I enjoy. It is not a good Bladehq, so my opinion is that if you're looking at these two, definitely do not go with the Bladehq option, even though it will save you a little extra cash. So my buddy Aaron from Houghton Outdoors bought the Scandi version with the leather and was with me on last year's backpacking trip when we were testing out doing a lot of the testing for these blades. So we're gonna hop to Wyoming and hear his thoughts on the leather sheath. Well, since we're here, why don't you just show us putting it in your belt, the leather sheath?
Oh yeah,
because we got to hit sheaths here in a little bit, and there's a big difference between the options.
So this is cool. They did a really nice, thick, burly leather, and the thing that I was so surprised about is it literally clicks. Like, it's a deep click in. Like, you got to pull it out. It's not going anywhere.
That's nice.
So yeah.
You got a thigh lashing down there
if you need it, but
yep.
I mean, it's only a four. Right. I can't remember the exact specs, but 4-inch blade. I'm not gonna tie it on, but it stays right where I need it. Exactly. So carries nice. Can sit down with it. It's super light. Don't even feel it on my belt.
That's awesome. So there you go. It's a no-brainer. Definitely go with the leather sheath option, regardless of the handles or blade grind you decide to go with. Now to the real question. Scandi versus full flat and Sandvik versus Sleipner. We'll answer that in just a moment, but I do want to invite you guys to like, subscribe, and make sure to hit the bell icon so you can be notified every week when I put up new videos breaking down gear and equipment just like this. And it's a perfect opportunity to tell you a little bit about today's sponsor, which is Huckberry and their exclusive extra tough waterproof deck boots. I've been familiar with Extra Tough for quite a while, but just never pulled the trigger, and man, do I regret it, because as we enter mud season with slop and mess, as you know, the snow melts, the rains come in, having a 100% waterproof boot is essential. And regardless if I've been outdoors doing stuff, you know, testing out gear and equipment, using this in the slush and the muck, I was blown away, especially with the Chevron non-slip sole That sole is so grippy on ice. I mean, it makes sense that these are loved in Alaska when it comes to working on ships and working around docks and on deck. I mean, the name, you know, is right there for it. But I have been using it extensively when I come back here right after a snow. So if you've been on the fence about Extra Tough, I cannot say enough good things. These things are epic, and Huckberry is an excellent place to get yourself a pair, regardless if it's the original deck boots, but they also have a few other models as well, along with that exclusive Huckberry pattern. And so I'll have a link popping up here, as well as in the description box below, over to the Huckberry website, so you can start exploring all the different Extra Tough designs, features, as well as so many other quality apparel and gear items that Huckberry carries, so that you can stay warm and dry as the seasons change. These Model 10s are both going to have 4-inch blades from handle to tip, and they are going to be 5/32 of an inch thick. Perfect kind of blend there of durability, but still giving you a lot of slicing. And at 4 inches, I feel like that is just the perfect length to be a companion blade to go along with hatchets, machetes, and just to do all of your general, you know, work around camp. 5.5 ounces for both blades means that they're going to be very carryable. Now, what's interesting is that the Sandvik version you can get with both the full flat and the Scandi. The Sleipner steel currently in 2025, from my research, is only available in the Scandi grind. So if you like Sleipner, you're only going to have Scandi as an option. So let's hop back to Wyoming and chat with my buddy Aaron and just kind of talk a little bit about how the Scandi performs and how the steel is performing before we circle back to the full flat and Sandvik variant.
I have not used a Scandi grind knife in a while. I like Scandi grinds for certain things, and this one is super fun. I'm seeing how fine of curls I can get with this thing.
So you've already done all this. This is all
yeah,
you.
I've just been messing with this for the last minute, and
show us.
Just trying to keep it like really fine. This thing is so sharp.
And we're rocking.
Look at that.
Are we walking 8th or 5/32?
Look at that.
I forget. Dude, look at that thing. It's like a
5/32, and then true Scandi, and it does have, the spine doesn't feel that sharp. I haven't even tested it on a ferro rod.
We'll do that here in a minute.
Do it in a little bit. But I mean, look at this. Like, it's just spinning this wood. I mean, you could shave with it. Whoops, I slipped. I changed my angle. It's tricky because it wants to just go super deep.
Now, would we say that this is a 0 degree edge, you think, or do they,
yeah,
do they have a micro on it?
No, man, it's a true Scandi, right down to 0. It's, look at that. If you can see it, it's like razor at the end.
I'm not seeing another bevel.
But like, look at those spirals. See if I can keep that on there. Yep, there we go, buddy. Little double action. But been carrying this knife on my belt for a couple weeks now, and we wanted to get out and use it in the field, and I've been using it at home, and it's just razor sharp still. So this is the second. We did the review on the LIONSTEEL M7,
yes,
kind of together. I had some B-roll footage in that video, but when Aaron did that, the rest of the review on the LIONSTEEL M7, that thing was invincible. We couldn't even put a nick in the edge. You couldn't feel anything after intense, like, batoning, chopping, hammering, and
because of the Sleipner.
Yeah, I was like, what is this Sleipner stuff? So we did some research on it. We'll talk about that later when we get into like the details. But I'm just impressed with Sleipner, and this is a Scandi grind Sleipner, and I'm actually really loving it.
Nice. So just as you guys have seen there, not only is the edge geometry superb for woods working, and I'll argue even general utility. When I started doing paracord, rubber cutting, things like that back here at the Blade Boot Camp, it was able to easily process almost everything that we put it through without any sort of issues. The Scandi grind is just such a workhorse on so many levels, and really the only area where it lags, which you probably expect, is in food prep. It doesn't do great cutting a tomato, slicing limes, doing those type of things. It's not my first choice for food prep But other than that, I mean, superb. And then the Sleipner steel that they're choosing, that they're doing an HRC of 59 to 61, I believe, cryo treated. Casstrom does offer a 25-year warranty as well on their blades, which is super cool. So leave a comment if you've ever had to use that and how that experience was. It's going to be a little tougher to resharpen than your Sandviks, and we're not having any sort of rusting issues, but if you just really need like ultra stainless, then this would not probably be your choice. And for me, I love it. I love Sleipner steel, and if you were to ask me personally between Sandvik and Sleipner, I will prefer the Sleipner because I've used it on so many blades and it just continually performs really, really well, even though you will have to work a little bit harder to resharpen the blade. Now, as we pivot and go to the full flat, the Sandvik, they're doing a cryo treat as well, and they're doing 59 to 60. So again, a little bit softer, a little easier to work with, resharpen, hone, do that type of stuff. So if that's more your preference, and it could just be a preference point, leave comments below. But for me personally, again, Sandvik is great, Sleipner is preferred. Now, for the full flat grind, right? It's great. It's going to do a lot of work for you. Obviously better with food prep. Slicing, if you do a lot of slicing through more man-made material, I would say it's going to perform better through like cardboard and thicker, burlier stuff because you don't have to overcome the more obtuse geometry of a Scandi. So in those categories, it worked really well. I was shocked that it actually held up really well against a lot of hard abuse too. We were pounding on pine, doing side notches, batoning, doing that type of stuff, which on a full flat can wave the edge and put some waves and cause problems. And thankfully that was not the case on this model. So the heat treat and cryo and all the Rockwell, all that they're doing with this Sandvik on the full flat, I was really impressed with and will outperform some other Sandviks that we've used. I put a wave in a Victorinox with the same steel, that doing similar type of batoning and woodworking, that this has not had any sort of issues, didn't even blink. But as you may expect, the full flat just doesn't quite do the woodworking like the Scandi does. It's good, it can compete, but it's just going to be easier to do curls, to do biting in of wood, and do like a test stick, a tri-stick, doing that type of stuff around camp is just going to be easier and more enjoyable with the Scandi than the full flat. So if you're looking for more general utility, I would say full flat. If you're looking for really a dedicated woods tool, the Scandi is the way to go, but leave comments on your preferred grind. Now, one of the things that drew me to these Casstroms are the differences in handle ergonomics compared to most other Scandinavian-made bushcraft knives. So let's hop back to Wyoming. What you doing?
Dude, got this, we're out here with a couple Casstrom blades. This is the Lapland in Sleipner.
Yeah, it's like the Forest 10. I have the specs for it. But yeah.
Curly stabilized birch for the handle with brass pins. Coke bottle, and dude, feels like a dream. I'm actually, the handle's so comfortable and no jimping. That is a plus. I love that.
So it is really that Coke bottle design along with the finger groove for your index finger compared to say like a standard Puko that isn't going to give you any type of guard at all, or is going to have certain models, will have a formed guard. This has a cut in. So it's going to have that same profile, but you get a neck indexing portion right there, regardless if you go with the curly birch or the high polish micarta or the G10. The micarta version is very slick. The curly birch does have a little bit of a tactile, woodsy feel to it. So if you want something a little more tacky, I would say go with the curly birch. If you like more high polish, then maybe look at the G10 or micarta variants. They're going to have little liners in there as well, just giving it a little pop. Now, my buddy Aaron bought the Sleipner version, I want to say for around 160, and I bought the Sandvik version for around 135, maybe 140, let's just say 140. Ballpark, that's what they're going to go for. We bought them on Bladehq. I know DLT Trading also has those. I'll have links popping up to the affiliate networks I partner with, as well as in the description box below. So if these or other models make sense and you feel like it's time to pull the trigger, appreciate when you check out all those affiliate links. Now, that's a great price point, but when we run in some competitive options for some food for thought, if we look at another full flat grind Sandvik, European made, Spanish made, Joker CAMPERO, love this blade, freaking sick. Go check out the full review. I'll try and have it linked. Almost identical in size. I would argue, because it comes with a dangler, a little bit better leather sheath. You can get fire steels and stuff, about $100. So you can save yourself $40, and you're going to get very similar performance. And I would argue the fit and finish and quality is on par with what I've seen from these Casstroms in that regard. So that is an excellent option. If we're looking at Sleipner, Joker also is one variant. And the BUSHLORD right there in Scandi, a little bit larger, beefier handle, and a leather sheath, excellent as well with fire steel. Those fluctuate between like 140 and 160, so very competitive pricing wise, but that is an excellent variant as well if you want something just a little bit larger, a little bit beefier maybe, would be the BUSHLORD from Joker Knives. And then another Sleipner just to think about is the kind of in between. It's a saber grind. I love this, the B40, B41 series from LIONSTEEL. Leather sheaths, and those are going to be saber grinds, so they're kind of a blending of the two. I love the edge geometry on this thing. And those are going to be right around the same cost, like right in that same price point, like 145, 150, kind of just depends on the variants and, you know, what you look for. They have lots of different handle options as well, and more ribbed, textured handles on the LIONSTEEL. So those are just some variants to kind of think about. Let's go ahead and do a tip test and wrap this up. So for me, as long as you go with the leather sheath, great build quality, fit and finish on both of these models. And what really stands out is the handle ergonomics. It's just something a little bit different, and in my mind, actually kind of more enjoyable to use than a lot of just kind of stick handled, you know, broom handle style bushcraft knives that are out there. And for, let's just say 150 bucks, give or take 10 on each side, you can really get yourself an excellent high quality woods knife. But I want to know from you guys, what do you think about Casström? Do you own one? How have they been performing for you over the years? Always appreciate your guys' feedback. Thanks for hanging with me today. I hope it's given you the information, but also entertainment for all you blade addicts that you look for week in, week out. Check out the other videos. Subscribe again if you haven't. Until next time, always remember to stay equipped, stay prepared, and I'll see you out there.